Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. First off, I want to apologize for the lack of videos lately, but I've been deep in the trenches playing two of the biggest and most talked about MMOs right now, New World Ethereum and Thrones of Liberty. As a console player, it's been an interesting experience, and I know many of you are in the same boat, torn between these two massive titles. These are both incredibly deep, grindy games, and I've spent a lot of time with both of them. So today I am here to help you decide which one is worth your time and which one you might want to pass on. Now, let's get one thing straight. Both of these games have a lot of going on for them. They are both packed with content, beautiful worlds, and endless hours of gameplay. But they are very different in a lot of key areas, and depending on what kind of experience you're looking for, one might be a much better fit for you than the other. I am going to break down several important categories, and based on those, I would choose a winner in each area. I know this is all subjective, so please feel free to add your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear your opinions, but let's get right into it. When it comes down to MMOs, character creation is often one of the first things that we spend a lot of time on. After all, we're going to be looking at that character for potentially hundreds or even thousands of hours, so let's start here. In New World, the character customization is pretty standard for any MMO. You can choose your character's gender, adjust their skin tone, eye color, facial features, and that's about it. The facial designs are pre-made, so you can't completely create a whole unique face from scratch. While it's fine and functional, it doesn't blow you away or give you the feeling that you've made something truly original and unique. Now, Thrones of Liberty, on the other hand, takes customization to the next level. This game offers an incredibly deep character creation system. You can tweak every little detail of your character's appearance, from the size and shape of their nose, eyes, and mouth, to the structure of their face. It's the level of customization that you expect in a high-quality RPG, and not just in an MMO. And one of the coolest features that this game offers, it's that it lets you scan a QR code, take a picture of you, and the game will use AI to try and recreate your real-life face in the game. While it's not perfect, it adds a really personal touch and shows you just how much thought went into the customization systems. Additionally, later in the game, you can change your character's design using in-game currency or items. This is something New World doesn't offer, and it gives Throne of Liberty a bit more creation when it comes to character design. For me, the clear winner here is Thrones of Liberty. The depth of customization is leagues ahead of New World, and that extra layer of personal expression is something that's hard to beat. So 1 point for Thrones of Liberty in this aspect. Next up, let's talk about monetization. Now, we all know that microtransactions are a part of any MMO world, but how these games handle monetization can really affect how much fun you have and how much you feel like your time is being respected. Thrones of Liberty, it's a free-to-play game, which seems like a great deal, right? Well, not exactly. While the game is free to download, it has a pretty aggressive microtransaction system. You will see a lot of cosmetic items, sure, but the real kicker is the in-game purchases that directly impact progression, specifically in the form of material upgrades. In Throne of Liberty, if you don't spend money to buy materials, you'll be stuck behind other players who have done so. You see, upgrading your gear and getting stronger items often comes down to money, especially when it comes to the end of the game content. And if you're someone who wants to engage in PvP or endgame raids, prepare to be severely outpaced unless you're willing to throw down some cash. This kind of pay-to-win system feels pretty frustrating, especially for players who are putting in hours of grind, but still feel like they're getting left behind by players who are just willing to spend more money. And the worst part it's almost necessary if you want to stay competitive. In contrast, New World has a one-time cost of around $69, but after that, there are only cosmetic microtransactions. This means you don't have to spend any money if you don't want to. The game doesn't force you into any pay-to-win situations. It's all about time and effort. The progression system is based on what you do in the game, not how much money you throw at it. So if you're someone who wants to feel like the time you invest in the game actually matters, New World is far more respectful of this time. Next up, we're talking about combat. Both games feature deep combat systems with a variety of weapons and playstyles, but the experience differs drastically on console. In Thrones of Liberty, you can equip up to 12 abilities at once, which sounds awesome on paper. However, on a controller, this can feel very overwhelming. You will be constantly switching between abilities, and for me as a melee player, this became a real pain. The combat can feel janky at times. Sometimes, it feels like you're just auto-attacking, with abilities not always registering smoothly. It's flashy and cool in the beginning, but after a while, the repetitiveness starts to drag. If you enjoy playing range or mage characters, I think this combat system is probably a bit more forgiving. But for melee combat, it's definitely a tough one to love on console. New World, on the other hand, has a combat that's far more hands-on. You're manually controlling your attacks, dodges, and positioning. There are only 3 abilities per weapon, but this makes the combat feel more immediate and satisfying. It's simpler, but in a way that encourages you to really get good with your abilities. This works especially well for console players who want a more direct, skill-based combat experience. The combat feels responsive and engaging, and if you like the challenge of dodging and positioning, this will be a much more rewarding experience. What really sets New World apart, though, it's the new weapon system. You can equip multiple weapon types and easily switch between them without getting punished. If you want to test out a new weapon mid-game, you can do that without losing all of your progress. In Thrones of Liberty, switching weapons is much more complicated, as each one requires significant resources to level up. This makes it harder to experiment with different builds and can feel very limiting. This point will go to New World. Leveling up in an MMO, it's a core part of the experience, and both of these games have their own take on it. In Throne of Liberty, you level up your character, but your weapons require separate materials and resources to upgrade. While this adds a layer of complexity, it also means you'll be constantly managing different resources. It can feel more like you're juggling a lot, and if you mess up your choices, it can be hard to recover. In New World, the system is simpler, but arguably more satisfying. You level up your character and your weapons simultaneously, meaning your time spent fighting with a weapon directly contributes to improving that weapon's power. Plus, skills like crafting, fishing, and gathering also level up alongside combat, giving you a much more rounded sense of progression. It's more straightforward and less punishing than Thrones of Liberty. And for players who appreciate clear progression, this is a big win. So another point for New World. The world. Throne of Liberty clearly outshines New World in terms of world design. The game's world is massive, and the ability to morph into animals for fast traveling, like turning into a panther or bird, is a game changer. No waiting for mounts to spawn, just quick and seamless travel across the world. However, much of Throne's Liberty world can feel empty, with long stretches of barren land. New World is smaller, but feels more alive. The environments are rich with detail, and the areas are packed with a lot of activities. While Throne of Liberty has the larger world, New World is more densely packed and vibrant. But still, the point goes for Throne of Liberty in this aspect. When it comes to multiplayer, Throne of Liberty has the upper hand. The world is packed with players, guilds, and activities, making it feel truly immersive. Group activities and raids are easy to get into with near instant matchmaking. New World, while still populated, sometimes struggles with longer matchmaking times for group content. However, New World shines for solo players. You can progress and enjoy the game at your own pace without being forced into parties. For console players who prefer to explore the world alone, New World is more solo friendly. But this point will go for Throne of Liberty, although for solo players, New World is definitely a go-to. Graphics and quality. New World takes this one for me. Despite being an MMO, the game's world is absolutely gorgeous, with stunning visuals and vibrant, detailed environments. The design feels polished, and the monsters and enemies are perfectly integrated into the world. Throne of Liberty is immersive in its own right, but the massive world sometimes feels generic, with stretches of empty landscapes that detract from the overall immersion, so this point will go for New World. So what's the conclusion? If you're a console player, New World offers a more polished, rewarding experience. Its combat system, leveling, and overall sense of progression simply feels better suited for players who want to earn everything through time and effort. Plus, it's solo friendly, meaning you can enjoy the game at your own pace. Throne of Liberty is a great MMO, but the pay to progress system can be very frustrating for those who want their time spent in the game to actually matter. If you're someone who enjoys large-scale multiplayer and the freedom to customize your character extensively, then Throne of Liberty might still be worth considering. Overall score, New World 4 and Throne of Liberty 3. Thank you for watching, guys, and if you found this comparison helpful, please comment and subscribe for more content like this one. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Are you Team New World or Team Throne of Liberty? Thank you, and till the next one.